Alright, what's going on, guys? Q here, coming at you with a little bit of a different video today. Things have been a little bit busy. Sorry that I haven't streamed in a couple days. Been kind of working some things out. Apologize for the mess here in the background. We are in the basement, so it's a little bit messy. Trying to kind of be in the middle of cleaning up here. Kind of sucks. So we got a little bit of a different video today. I have kind of rediscovered one of my old hobbies from when I was growing up, and that is TCGs, trading card games. So I was informed that Pokemon is indeed way more popular than I thought it was after kind of poking around, no pun intended. I kind of want to look into collecting, getting back into collecting, maybe playing casually anyway, but then come to find out that it was way more popular in my area than I ever imagined growing up. So I was going to kind of go over what I did. I kind of, I traded in some old cards that I had laying around, got a little bit of credit and whatnot. Uh, Total, I think the deck that I'm about to present, like I said, this isn't going to be anything great, anything game breaking. It's just, some loose ideas that I had. Uh, I went in, spent a couple hours looking at the cards, being like, let me see if I can throw together a basic deck just for casual play. If it fits in the standard, cool. If it's into, expanded or whatnot, that's fine too. If not, it's just a casual deck. It's no big deal. Like I said, just, idea for a deck I had while I was in there. Like, let's go through with this. See if we can put something together. So just kind of posting this to get your guys' thoughts. I'm going to be sharing this with a couple of people that I know are in TCGs, kind of get their opinions on the deck. So with that being said, we're going to kind of move this here. Crotch shot. Just to make it a little bit easier to see the cards. We're going to kind of move you guys over here. Bring it down a little bit. Now we're going to kind of move it. Yeah, we're kind of doing things a little ghetto here. Don't judge me. This is a little awkward. I'm not used to doing this. I don't have like a stand or anything for the webcam yet. Oh, oh, oh. Can move you up just a little bit. There we go. Let's try that. Let's see right there. Okay. So the deck is a psychic and colorless deck. There's only a few cards that I think might not be in rotation. If there isn't, let me know. I would like to be able to see this deck be legal in standard, just to kind of see how it stacks up, just for funsies. So starting off, we have Glammeow, right? So we actually have two of these from two different sets. We're gonna actually kind of push you guys over. There we go. So nothing really super particularly special. You guys can pause the video if you want, read the move list or, check the numbers and stuff like that. Nothing particularly special. They are pretty much there to get this chick in play. There we go. So that's going to be a sweet spot is right there, pretty much. Let me see. It's kind of having a hard time focusing. Let me see if I bring it a little bit closer. Kind of doing this off rip here. There we go. A little bit better. A little bit better. But so I pulled her from a pack today. She felt like she would be kind of strong, so wanted to see if I could get her involved in the deck somehow. I like her for the idea of own the place, just because I know stadium cards are pretty common. But just if you can get her set up in the early game, I feel like she could be really, really strong. Especially if you can kind of catch that opponent off guard who maybe isn't prepared for stadium cards. Who knows? Up next is my man's here. Let me fix this. Oh, I did this. Turn on. There we go. So is him. Bouffalant. So, like I said, not really a powerful card per se. Let's get you guys a better. There we go. Get you guys a better look at the moveset and everything there. Camera's having a hard time focusing. But yeah, so the idea behind him, he's kind of an early game pick, kind of a tank, which is going to be one of the running themes of this deck is a lot of tanks, a lot of people who are kind of spongy, can really soak up damage, and he can kind of dish it out. He can stall really, really well. In my opinion, which is something that I like, which leads into my next character, the dreaded Miltank. So this chick with the Pokepower Moo Moo Milk, as you can see, pretty self-explanatory. You attach an energy card, can heal 90 damage to that Pokemon as long as she is the active Pokemon, and then sit down splash, 60 damage, flip a coin. If heads, it is 90 damage for that. You know, 100 HP, again, she's colorless. I feel like she could kind of fit into any deck, but I love her ability to help stall. Really good in the late game, good in the early game. Just kind of a great all-around card. Then I have 2 of these Miles right here. Now, the main reason I have them is for the early game, right? 80 life, you can kind of take a few hits, stall a couple turns, but primarily I want them for Call for Family. Search for up to 2 basic Pokemon cards, put them on your bench, shuffle your deck afterward. So there's a couple of reasons I like that, and you'll see why in this deck. It allows me to get some really, really powerful basic Pokemon in play early on. But then also, you know, because you have to look through your deck, right? It kind of gives you an idea of once you know your deck, what's going to be in your prize pile. So then you can kind of plan accordingly. So it's kind of like a free look at your deck when you do that. So I have 2 of those just in case one gets taken out early. Has that insurance policy. Nothing special about this little guy. Stuffle. Cute little dude. Obviously, he's here for beware, right? Play on words. You guys are cute. I see what you did there. Get you guys a better look at this one. And bop. There we go. I should probably hold that correctly. Hold it by the top there. So, as you can see, rake it in. When I evolve him, I get to choose, or draw 3 cards. Not choose, excuse me. I get to draw 3 cards on the turn. And then Dangerous Blow, 60 damage off rip. And then if it's a basic Pokemon, does 60 more damage for a total of 120. For 3 energy, colorless, has 130 life. You can get him active early game. That's kind of nuts, man. Unless you're a super powerful, tanky, you know, basic Pokemon, you're pretty much going to be getting one-shotted off rip. So, and again, like I said, 130 life, so really tanky, able to kind of absorb some hits there. And then you combine it with Miltank, really able to soak up some damage. So it's always a nice thing to have. So next up, I have 3 of these, 3 Ghastlies. Nothing super, you know, impressive. You know, ominous eyes. You know, nothing to write home about. You know, put a damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Whoop-de-doo, right? Obviously, you guys know where this is leading, so it's nothing super crazy. Goes into Haunter, Pain Amplifier, right? Put 2 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it, so you know it gets to do more damage. Doesn't necessarily have to be the active Pokemon; can still be hitting people on the bench. But these are the boys right here. This is the have 2 of these in the deck, but we'll just show you one just for the sake of ease here. So I have a Gengar, right? So his Pokemon power is that when your opponent attaches an energy card to their Pokemon, you put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. Now, to my knowledge, it does not say anything about that not stacking. So if I can get both of these little dastardly devils in play, you put an energy card on your Pokemon, that's a free 40 damage, right? And then obviously Fade to Black, they're confused, does 70 damage, 3 energy. And, you know, not bad life either at 130, you know, and not to mention, actually, now that I look at it, his retreat cost is 0. So that's actually a really good card. I didn't even notice that earlier, so that works out. Next up, we have, and again, one of the things I wonder if one of them might be legal, one of them might be illegal because they're not in circulation. Miss Drevis, you know, nothing to write home about, not a particularly great card on her own, but you have Miss Magius, right? So let me kind of, there we go. Still new that's doing this kind of upside down, backwards. Chaos Wheel, no big deal, but Dark Arts is where she really shines. 20 damage, and then 20 damage, you know, for each number of cards your opponent has in their hand. Early game, I feel like she could be really strong. You know, sizable life at 110, you know, that's solid. But early game, you know, when somebody's really trying to get as many cards in their hand as possible, I feel like she could really light them up. So, next up, I was a big fan. This is actually one of my favorite Pokemon, probably my top 5 personal favorites, is Seviper. So Viper, pretty solid card. You guys probably can't really tell because he's hollow foil. Poke Power is when the opponent's Pokemon is poisoned, does 10 damage more than normal, so that's 20 damage per turn for poison, and then his Venomous Fang, 30 damage, poisons them. So first turn he uses that, that's 50 damage, right? And then that's going to be residual 20 every time. Again, sizable life pool at 100 life, 3 energy. It feels like a really solid card all around. Get him out early can really hurt the opponent's Pokemon with poison early on, especially if they're squishy basic Pokemons. Now, I bought 3 of each of these. I only have 2 of each in the deck though. There's a Spoink, and then there, and then obviously Spoink, nothing spectacular, but then we have a Grumpig. Right, so Poke Power, alright, cool. Can't be confused. That's neat. That's cool. It's all fine and dandy. I love that my camera's not focusing on this because lighting sucks. But it's all fine and dandy, but the Psych Up ability or attack is what I'm most excited about. 60 damage base, and then the next turn, doesn't matter if it's on the same Pokemon or not, the next turn if he's alive, that attack does 120. So really good, and again 120 hit points, relatively tanky, pretty solid. This is somebody I kind of added in last minute. He kind of goes in my strategy, which I'll explain. Pretty solid for the late game Spiritomb. Just for Lightless World, put 2 discarded support cards back into your hand. You don't have to shuffle, no shenanigans, no bells or whistles or anything. Terrify, is there. It's cool. But Lightless World is really the main reason I have him in the deck. Now, this is a bit of a wild card. It's going to seem crazy at first, but let me explain how it plays in. We're going to have this lovely little lass, right, Rabumbi. So her attack is colorless. She's a fairy type. It's whatever. It's not really there for that. It's more there for the power. You can't really tell because my camera is not wanting to focus. But the power, I have the ability with her power to search for 2 energy cards and put them in my hand, right? So, easy way for me to get energy from my team early on in the early game if I grab her. So this leads into the call for help, or call for family. With Maw Isle, I could call her in, use her Poke Power, and start building energy relatively early on, right, to fuel my tanks, my heavy hitters. Next up, there are 2 of these in the deck. We're going to throw one off to the side. I have a Murkrow, right? So now there's no dark energy in the deck, but the idea is that you're not really playing for Murkrow, obviously, if you know what Murkrow evolves into. Get off the laptop there. We are playing for this lovely lady, the Honchkrow. Lady, dude, I don't see a gender at the top, whatever. But Honchkrow. So Feint attack is whatever. Don't have a dark energy in the deck, no big deal. We are playing for Raven's Claw. So attack does 10 damage plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on all of your opponent's Pokemon. So there's no limit, right? So the idea that I have is that in the late game, you're partially, you can partially be playing for Honchkrow, right, and to get the Gengars out. Gengars don't need energy; they just need the Pokemon power in play and to be chilling on the bench. They attach an energy card. You're doing 40 damage and damage counters. Now she's doing, or I don't know why I say she, 50 off rip, and then a minimum. Right, not counting how many damage counters are in play. So, really strong combination, in my opinion. Then, just for a little bit extra juice, I have Drampa. Right, I picked him up for I think it's $2, if I'm not mistaken. Big Wheel GX, like it's there, it's cool. But I like Berserk. I like the fact he's a basic Pokemon. He has 180 life. I know he's a GX, so if he gets knocked out, it's 2 prize cards. But again, basic Pokemon. Call for family, right? Call for family. You get him, and you get, you get Rabumbi, right? You get them in play. She starts getting energy. You start fueling him, right? There you go. You're setting up massive damage early on within the first few rounds. And as you can see, 80 damage plus. Now is it on the? I can't remember. Is that on the enemy team? Oh, if your bench Pokemon have any damage counters on them, this attack does an additional 70 damage. So it does 150 every time. Pretty early on, you're going to be one-shotting a lot of stuff with this unless they can somehow cripple them. I know trainer cards are pretty heavy in the meta, or from what I'm told right now. But I feel like that's, and again, that's just one play that you can do with that. So good in the early, good in the mid, good at the end game. Really strong card. So next up, we're gonna have my trainers. Nothing too spectacular or crazy. Just a couple of switches. Get me out of jail if need be. If I don't want to pay the retreat costs, I want to keep my energy. You know, have Miltank to help heal or whatnot. Speaking of healing, got a couple of potions. You know, again, nothing huge, just to get some of that extra damage off of them. And then there's 3 of these energy searches just for that extra help in getting the energy that I need. You know, no huge in-depth explanation with that. Mom's Kindness, draw 2 cards, right? Just kind of like Bill. Again, help me kind of burn through the deck. Get my energy, get my Pokemon as fast as possible, get the heavy hitters out there and try to shut them down as fast as I can while taking as much damage to quote-unquote draw it out for them, if that makes sense. Also, I have Cynthia, right? Shuffle your hand in your deck, draw 6 cards, right? Solid. If I don't like the hand I have, or, you know, if I only have a couple cards, right? You know, I can't remember if it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or what, if you have to have a minimum of certain amount of cards in your hand. I can't remember. It's been quite some time since I have played Pokemon at a competitive level. But yeah, so, you know, like I said, you don't like the hand that you got. If you have this, go ahead and shuffle in the deck and get 16 cards. Pretty solid. And then keep in mind, you know, Spirit. If you have Spiritomb in play, you can start bringing these back, right, to help find something that you need. And then lastly, for trainer / support tools, etc., have the skateboard again. Just, you know, put it on somebody that's got a hefty retreat cost. Maybe you know, the GX card. I think he has a retreat cost of like 3 or something like that. Throw this on him, allow him to get out before they can kill him. Get those 2 prize cards. Maybe, I don't know, throw an energy card on him next turn if need be. Have Miltank heal him. You know, there's a few different things you can do with that. And then lastly, there is 20. No need to really go through them individually. There's 20 psychic energies. So I know the deck hasn't been tested yet, right? So actually, hold up. Let me readjust you guys. Let me set you back up here and up here. Once again, I apologize for the mess that is back there. Kind of. No, this way. Whoop, there we go. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Earthquake. So the deck hasn't been played in any type of tournament setting or anything like that, or even played casually against any other decks. It's purely theory fighter right now, but it's just an idea that I had. Like I said, I know it would be legal and expanded, obviously. I don't know if it'll be legal in standard. I think the having a brain fart. Glameows. I think the Glameows and Misdreavuses might be the biggest issue as far as that. I'm not sure, but I feel like all like the big cards, the heavy hitters, the tanks, and everything. Those should all be legal. To my knowledge, I'll have to double check and follow up if I am mistaken. Feel free to tell me. Let me know. That's why I'm making this video to begin with. So pretty much the short of it, the gist of it. It's a tank heavy. It feels very much kind of like a burn deck, right? Burn, being a term, you know exactly what it sounds like. You're burning through your deck to do a lot of damage or to get to the cards that you want, so you can deuce that damage or, you know, shut your opponent down. So that's kind of the idea. It's a very almost kind of like a search / burn style. Because it's not so much searching. It's just like, you know, allow me to burn through stuff, you know, to get my energy cards, to get my basic Pokemon, to get everything kind of ready to go. And I like that one thing that I liked about this deck, the idea, is I don't really have to sit here and play for like a stage 2 evolution. I got like 4 or 5 energy cards. You got discard energy to use this attack. It's just kind of very simple. Takes a couple of turns to set up if you play it right, and you're just hitting for fat stacks of damage, off rip. Right. So I tried to make it to where no matter what you're in a good position, right? So like there's enough Pokemon cards in there to be able to make sure you have a decent bench. You have a decent selection of characters at your disposal. I don't just want to have like just one Ghastly, one Haunter, one Gengar, and all of a sudden you lose one and you can't do anything. You kind of have that backup strategy. Same thing with the Glameows and the Perugly. To kind of fight with the Stadium, kind of have that meta involved. Like I said, it's all theory fighter. I know it's not foolproof, and I know a real good friend of mine, Shawson Tyler, he was telling me that, there are builds and there's cards out there, that can really disrupt the strategy, but they can disrupt pretty much any strategy, right? That's the strength of having, trainers and tools and support cards and whatnot. That's the idea. It's like having trap cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! So with that being said, that's kind of the idea I had behind this deck. Realistically, I think if memory serves, if you were to go out and put this exact deck together, provided that it's legal, of course. If, like I said, if it's not, feel free to let me know. If you were to put this deck together, I would say maybe somewhere around like the $10–15 range, maybe, give or take a couple bucks. It's not. I wasn't looking to go in, and like I say, I did it with store credit. Off of some leftover cards that I had from years ago, right? I was able to get a couple bucks for them. I didn't want to go and be like, hey, let me go build this $50, $75, $100, $200 deck of all this wild stuff, right? So, I want to keep it real budget friendly, see what I could do with like a low budget deck, see if I can make something that was solid. So that's that. Appreciate your time. If you stuck through it and watch this video, like I said, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are about this deck. It's kind of something I want to start getting into. I really want to get back into kind of playing Pokemon, collecting. I don't really play Yu-Gi-Oh! I never have, but I would like to start collecting that at some point. Probably not right now because it's a little bit expensive to get into. But I think Pokemon is where I'll start. Like I said, there's some leagues and tournaments and whatnot. There's some players in my area, so I'm starting linking up with them. But once again, thank you so much for your time. I am Q. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the gray bell. Become part of the notification squad. I am planning to be uploading more content to YouTube, whether it be just like little videos like this, channel updates, stream updates, stuff like that. Maybe clips from the stream. We're going to be building. We're going to be building, man. And speaking of the stream, go hop on over to the Twitch. That's twitch.tv/PGFXKIU. Give me a follow over there. And would really appreciate the love and helping grow the channel, man. And with that being said, much love. Appreciate everything. And deuces, guys. Thanks so much for watching today. And where's my cursor at? It's hiding on me. There we go.